Okay, I've been watching recently a lot of the ICT 2023 playlist and studying and taking notes like an like very much. And I got one very important thing that I would want to share you with now. Um, Most people get this wrong. Most people don't even know what this is. Watching these kind of third-hand ICT channels that teach his concepts, I've never heard this thing from them ever. ICT, Michael Haddleston is the only one who has ever said anything about this. So, but I think this is something that you could definitely utilize with your trading. I don't know why no one talks about it, but I will show you this. And disclaimer: I'm not very professional with ICT concepts. I'm not one to teach these kind of things, so I'm just giving my thoughts about this thing, and I would advise you to go on ICT's channel and watch his content. He's really the dude who knows all about this shit. So the thing is called immediate rebalance, and I will now show you how it works. Immediate rebalance is I would say it's a PD array or like a signature in price that helps you to identify the direction of the market, or maybe more even like find conviction in the market. So this absolutely works mainly when you have conviction. So you need to have conviction, aka clear directional bias. Only if you have that, this thing would work. So with candles, it would work like this. So basically in feral gap, we got 3 candle pattern where we have something like this. These are all down close candles now. So everyone knows what feral gap is. It's with the wicks leaving imbalance between each other. So this wick and this wick do not do not touch each other, because the candle in the middle is kind of bigger one, and the wicks are just not pulling deep enough to give like a balanced price action. So that's why, for example, this one is called CB, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So there is only sell side price action, no buy side price action. So that's why it's called buy side inefficiency. So basically it's not balanced price action, it's imbalanced price action. That's why it's called imbalance. Okay, so immediate rebalance. So what would be like a regular rebalance towards this kind of feral gap? Let's say the next candle opens here. This one is a white one. So we immediately close this gap with that candle. That would be normal like a rebalance towards feral gap. Now, once the next candle leaves the gap, excuse me, let's just do this. So now if the next candle leaves the gap like this gap is now rebalanced. Very simple, everyone knows this. But how immediate rebalance works is we get no gap. So it's also 3 candle formation, but you basically get no gap. You just, the first and second candle are kind of like this, but the third candle pulls deeper like this. Do you see any gap here? No, the third candle closes the possibility of any gap, any imbalance in price being created. And this is immediately rebalance. Immediate rebalance basically just means that it's immediately rebalancing the price action that would become imbalanced. So yeah, that's the case in here. It's very, very simple. But how ICT teaches to utilize this is, well, if you you need to have conviction slash like a clear directional bias, and when you do have that, let's say we are strongly bearish, we get this kind of immediate rebalance. This is very good indication that soon we are going to have like a strong displacement expansion down, and exactly like this. So immediate rebalance basically just gives you conviction. It's like a signature in price that indicates that price is going to move quickly in your direction, but obviously only if your directional bias is clear and you are correct with your understanding of price action. But this is a signature that no one really talks about, but this can be very beneficial if you understand this. So here could be a good example of this kind of thing. So our bias is bearish, we get immediate rebalance here. So first, this is the first candle here. Then the second candle trades far past it and creates opportunity of fair value gap, something like this being created. But then the third candle, it kind of pulls deep in the price leg and prevents of any type of fair value gap or imbalance being created. And what happens immediately after we start spooling down, a lot of displacement to the downside. Now, I would like to say this thing. Many people think that ICT is scam because they just absolutely cannot use it. And the problem in this is the fact that everything with ICT is kind of like or most of things with ICT is kind of like you need a context around it. Nothing will work if you don't have context. And people like to be pattern traders. And the problem is exactly that. You cannot be a pattern trader with ICT. With ICT, you need to have context. You need to be kind of intelligent person who is able to look at everything that's going on. And it's kind of like it's the most scientific way to trade. It's the most precise way to trade, but you cannot say it's a scam because you cannot use it yourself. And exactly the same thing with the immediate rebalance. It's of course not going to work if you don't have an idea or correct idea of where market is going to go. That's the bottom line here. Order block cannot work if you don't have an idea. Fair value gap doesn't work if you don't have an idea. You need to have an idea. Even with fair value gaps, if you create so-called bullish fair value gap, but busy, not every bullish fair value gap is going to act as bullish fair value gap. Some of them are getting flipped and treated as inversions to send price lower. So understanding the context, you can even anticipate some of these bullish fair value gaps being inversed. Like you shouldn't expect all of the PD arrays holding. Some of the PD arrays are going to be inverted and then treated as bearish, such as in here. So you can see we trade past it, we reject and go again lower. Like it's idiotic to say that ICT doesn't work because these kind of PD arrays don't hold bullish. No, the idea of ICT is that you understand the context behind it, and maybe even when you are up here, if you have the correct bias, you don't expect this to hold at all. You are expecting it to inverse. So you are not treating this as bullish PD array at all. If you have clear bias to go lower, you are expecting this to get inversed. So context is king of everything.